if I had to point out one thing that I am most proud of, it is my family life. It just is, plain and simple. Like, no contest. Nothing can even begin to compete with how powerful the success of my family has made on my happiness and success in life as a human being.
An entrepreneur straight out of New York City, Michael Chernow. What's cracking?
I want to talk today about a conversation I just finished having that filled me up so much. And that conversation really was about the power of family. I don't necessarily mean your biological family, although it could be, but more about the family that you create, the family that you build. Now, I know not everybody listening to this podcast has begun building a family. I know not everybody listening to this podcast has a great experience with family that they have built or are in the middle of building. I do, however, feel it necessary to share about how powerful and how much of an impact my family has made in my life and happiness. The power of family is so strong if it's done well. And I'm no expert, but I can tell you that I've been married for 17 years and with my wife for 20 years. Been together for 20 years. Half my life, actually, which is crazy to think about. But if I had to say, out of all the things I've done in my time here on this planet, if I had to point out one thing that I am most proud of, it is my family life. It just is, plain and simple. Like, no contest. Nothing can even begin to compete with how powerful the success of my family has made on my happiness and success in life as a human being. So what am I saying about this? Well, I had a conversation with a guy a little bit older than me. I don't know how old he was. I think I would argue to say he's probably in his late 60s, but he looks like he's in his early 50s. But this guy, who you're going to hear from too, because it was a podcast that we did, but this guy the energy was infectious. He was just this shining bright light. The minute he walked through the door here, and I just knew we were going to have an unbelievable conversation, and I didn't know the conversation was really going to be harnessed and the footings of the conversation were going to be about this power of family. But that's where it ended up. We ended up talking about the power of family, and you know, he's been in his marriage for a very long time, and he has these two wonderful kids that are men now, that he was so excited to talk about. And he just lit up, and I just felt such identification with him. I felt such identification with him about the energy that he had when I saw him light up like a Christmas tree when he talked about his wife and his kids. And so I want to talk with you guys about it a little bit because, and I know it's not relevant for everyone. And again, I do want to, I'm not oblivious to the fact that family is really, really hard for a lot of people. Trust me, I did not have the greatest family life as a kid specifically, but even through my teen years. It was only until I met my wife and started building a family of my own that I understood how powerful and important family and the support of family can be. I believe, the success to my marriage with my wife. I owe that to, well, her like unconditional love and an ability to deal with my insane ass. But our communication together, our fearless communication together. Even if we're not comfortable saying something that really doesn't feel good to say to your partner, something that you feel like your partner will potentially get mad at you, or feelings hurt when they hear what you have to say. Having that commitment to each other, that fearless style of communication, is, I do believe, the success of, or at least makes up a brunt of the success of our relationship. And because we have this like wonderful, healthy relationship, like I really love hanging out. Like I want to hang out with my wife and kids more than anybody else by a long shot. Like I love hanging out with my family. I love being with my wife and kids. It's my absolute favorite thing. My absolute favorite thing, period. And I think it started with the communication commitment that my wife and I had together. And then because we have that great communication, we have created this example of what a great marriage looks like for our kids. And that makes them comfortable and feel safe and understand that starting to see and understand what love is. Like, I can't describe how important it is in my life. And it is my priority. It is my priority. And I know that I also have to show up. And the best way that I show up for my wife and ultimately my sons is by taking care of myself too. But I don't sacrifice time with my wife and my sons to take care of myself. I get up super early in the morning, as you guys know, to do that. I can be as selfish as I want from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. So I guess I'd want to leave you guys with two things in this Monday moment. One, I only can wish that you have a similar experience to mine in the building of a family. And if you're not in that experience, if you don't have that experience with your current life or your current situation, or you've had bad ones, I'm sorry. I do know for sure, though, that it is possible to have a wonderful family life that really fills your love cup. Like I know it. I know it's true because I have it. And and for those of you who do have that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's nothing more in life that I want than to be married to my wife till the end of days and be best friends with my sons and do really cool things as a family together, maybe even be in business with my sons. Like there's nothing more in life I'd want than that. I just feel like sharing that was important to do today, because I don't think we hear enough about that. I don't think we hear enough about happy marriages and supportive family life, you know? And then the other piece of that I've spoken an ungodly amount about over the years, that you guys have definitely heard me talk about, is this idea that if you're not taking care of yourself, that stuff is going to be really, really hard to sustain. If you're not taking care of yourself, having a loving, caring, supporting family is going to be hard, because you'll walk around with self-centered fear, which means you're basically thinking about yourself in a negative way all the time, or more of the time than you have to think of the people that you love. And I've had a lot of experience with people like that around me, that self-centered fear where, people walk around with this negative mindset because they don't take care of themselves, because they don't eat right, they don't train hard, they don't work out at all, they don't sleep well. So I wanted to leave you with that today. These are these short and sweet little pieces of content on Mondays to inspire you. I hope you got some of that energy that I'm feeling right now. And I wish you guys the absolute best week. Go crush it this week. It's still the beginning of a new year, even though it's not New Year's, but it's still the beginning. Step on the gas, y'all. I love you. Share the podcast. Peace.